Thank you so much for doing this today. I know you're very busy.
No problem at all.
How did it all start? Like, what inspired you? Was there any particular squash player in particular?
Um, I don't think it was like any of the professional players at the time, actually. I think the, uh, the internet was quite new when I was a bit
Yeah.
younger, and so you couldn't just go and watch on YouTube or anything like that. So I didn't actually see any professional squash at all till I think my first thing I went to was about 13. I went to sort of like a small semi-professional thing quite locally. But
Okay.
until then, yeah, I started playing when I was 5. My dad played at the local club, which is Four Oaks Club in Birmingham, which is on the Four Oaks estate in Sutton Coldfield.
Yeah.
And yeah, I started playing when I was 5 because he played just a club player. So he started taking me and my brother down to the junior
Okay.
coaching, and I just like got in that. And then I think we moved to Kenilworth when I was 8, and then
Right.
joined the club there, and the coaching setup there was really good for the kids. And it
Yeah.
was a group of me and probably four or five boys of similar age.
Okay.
And we did like group coaching sessions, and so it was more about wanting to try and beat them
Yeah. Yeah.
than trying to beat the other girls at that point. But I mean, that bit never phased me because my brother is actually my twin brother, so I think
Oh,
I've always
really?
had rivalry
Very
with the
competitive then.
boys. So yeah, so I think, and then started playing some tournaments from there, but I wasn't really sure I was actually going to turn professional.
Yeah.
So I went to university because that's what all my friends were doing. That seemed
Yeah.
like the best thing to do, and I don't think I was ready to be professional at
Yeah.
18 either. And then nearly got a job at the end of university like everyone else was doing too. I did get one, and I had
Good.
the contract in front of me and everything. Cool,
Yeah.
everyone's going, "Oh, have you got on a graduate scheme?" Blah, blah. And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." So was nearly in the technology department at Tesco, but
Oh.
uh, decided to I'd regret it more if I didn't give squash a go, and
Yeah, of course.
that I could get a job at any point.
Yeah, exactly. With the degree. Unfortunately, it is underrated. Has it been challenging being a professional squash player?
Um, in some aspects, I think you get a lot of people who assume it's an Olympic sport, and it's not. In most of the other major games, like the Birmingham Commonwealth Games coming up and everything, so
Yeah.
they just assume that we're an Olympic sport because I think all of the aspects of squash and the things that it embodies are what the Olympics
Yeah.
embodies about hard work and athleticism and all that. But it's just squash in the Olympics has never quite happened for various
Yeah.
reasons. But I think in a way it's made squash have to grow itself, and
Yeah.
the tours increase. The tours become stronger and stronger, particularly over the last 5 years since the men's and women's tours merged into one. And I'm quite passionate about like doing what I can to help that, I guess, and help the sport grow. So over the last couple of years, I've got more and more involved in the
Yeah.
bits that I can as well, and trying to help with that side of things, from a, I guess, player sort of perspective as well. So it is it. I guess it is a bit frustrating when you see
Yeah.
how much like tennis players are getting for turning up to the Australian
Yeah.
Open,
No,
and then
true.
um, what we're competing for. But if you compare it to squash 5-10 years ago,
Yeah.
we're in a really good place, and
Yeah.
the sport's growing. So in that sense,
Yeah.
we need to stop the numbers of uh, like recreational players
Yeah.
declining though.
Yeah, speaking on the Commonwealth Games, actually, I know Birmingham is your home city where you was born. I believe you're participating in the Commonwealth Games next year. Do you believe this Commonwealth Games will mean more to you because it's where you're from? It's in the city where you're from?
Absolutely, I think it, there's nothing sort of more
Yeah.
idealistic in your brain than
Yeah.
like I said, squash isn't an Olympic sport, so Commonwealth's right at the pinnacle. And as a squash player, and to have it in your home city where I was born, and I still don't live very far away at all, and I train a lot. I train in most of the time in Solihull, but at the moment, because of COVID, I'm actually training in Birmingham Uni Sports Centre in Edgbaston Priory Club, and the university is actually where we're going to be playing. So it's going to be, I think, extra special. I'm hoping to have. I'm hoping for some home support. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some of that, which will be the Midlanders. We do like to be welcome the others in as well, but we do like to support our own. So I think that's pretty much a guarantee.
What positive impacts do you think the Commonwealth Games will bring to the city?
I think there's loads, really. I think obviously how spread out all the events are, I think gives people a chance to see and showcase some of the different locations across the West Midlands. And also, I think Sandwell and Dudley next door are going to get a brand new aquatic centre, which is pretty cool, as well as the other projects that have actually the kind of legacy projects and the legacy housing that's going to be in Perry Bar. But I think from an actual sporting perspective, I think a lot of the major sporting events in the UK have gone, have not been in Birmingham historically. They've been in London or Manchester. So I think to actually have all of them in Birmingham and the surrounding areas is pretty awesome, and get to show off the diversity and everything that Birmingham is known for as well, and showcase all of the talents. I think there's going to be a lot of non-sporting talent shown off as well, with the dancers and artists and even everything, which is pretty awesome, really.
What do you think your biggest achievement is so far?
I think I have a few, and they're hard to sort of distinguish because they're not one or the other. I think absolutely my Commonwealth Games silver medal from Gold Coast last time is right up there, and I also I think I won the World Team Championships with England back in 2014. And that one was really special as a team, because most of the time in squash we compete as an individual, so that's a bit different, but equally kind of right up there. And then I think actually the tournament I won just back in December was a real special one for me, because it's the first tournament I've won where there's literally everyone been there, all the top players. So I think that really bolsters my confidence and everything, that if I can get everything right in the future, then I've got a real chance of competing and challenging for a world championship on an individual level, which would be like the ideal.
Lockdown has been very challenging for all of us. Do you think it's kind of blessing in disguise, because giving you a break from all the training, or have you missed traveling and competing?
I think it wasn't quite a blessing in disguise at the start, because I got back just in time from Egypt as we locked down, but then decided that was a good time to have a break, which it was. But my back decided it wasn't a good time to not do anything, and it completely locked up. So that was and there was nothing open, no one open to sort it out for me. So on that respect, it wasn't. But actually, it probably meant that I did actually need a rest. It was, like for everyone, it's really challenging. It was really challenging, particularly at the start, because it's your whole routine just thrown out, thrown out the windows. It sounds odd, but it was a whole time. It took me a long time to get my head around training at home, because I normally go out to train and then come home, and you relax when you get home. So to have your training and your training and relax space like only separated by a curtain is quite is quite challenging. I can empathize with everyone that's working at home as well. But I think overall, I think it gave me the chance to have some time to really think about where I've come from, like what I've achieved and what I still want to achieve in the sport, and also what I need to do to do that. And I think I took a real look at a real honest look probably took a while. Probably after I played a couple of tournaments back, we started again in September, and then I had a couple of tournaments in October, and they didn't go very well. And I really then went, right, what am I not doing that I can do? I want to give this. I don't want to get to the end of my career and go, oh, I probably should have done that. Or oh, why didn't you like,
regrets,
and so took the decision to sort of really dissect it and go, right, what can I do on every sort of level to get better. So I think that's been and have, I guess, the time and everything to kind of do that, and not necessarily my time. I've still been really busy, but other people tend to have a bit more time, or just and things like that. So a fresh perspective as well. So I think it could have, at the start it was very challenging, but I think you have to work out how to make it a positive thing, and I think I did that quite well in the end.
Adding to that, what are your future plans and goals?
Oh, big question. Lots and lots. Hopefully, world number one, world championships, Commonwealth Games gold medalist. Hopefully, at least 2 gold medals at the Commonwealth Games. We have doubles as well. That's the ideal scenario. I think for now, definitely we've got our season runs a little bit later. Usually finishes in June, but it's going to finish in July this year. So really give a big push for these. We've got probably 5 tournaments, 5 or 6 tournaments left of that. So really see how well I can play in those, and then just hopefully not trying to give myself like a ranking goal or anything like that. So I'm currently sat 6, but I know that if I can get it right consistently and play how I want to play and get to finals and things like that, then the ranking sort of sorts itself out. But I think in the back of my mind as well, there is Commonwealth Games is just sat there going, right, all of it's really, this stuff in the meantime is for that ultimate goal as well.
Of course.
So I think I can't not say that in my goals. Birmingham is right up there.
What advice would you give female squash players who look up to you?
I think talk about when I was younger, and I was kind of not maybe directly told, but it was implied to me lots and lots of times that I was a good junior, but you're not going to be a professional squash player. And I think that got to me for a while until something sort of clicked, and I was like, well, why not? Like, I can play squash as well as any of these other girls. Why are you telling them they can do it and I can't? So I think it applies to squash, but as to sport or anything else in life, really finding people that build you up and build that team around you. And I know that's really specific in a sports sense, with my coach, my nutritionist, my sports psychologist, etc. But actually in life as well, I found you have the same sort of people, like someone that's a bit of a mentor, someone that is really honest with you. That's really important, that will always tell you exactly how it is, but they're still, you trust them and they've got your back. Someone that you just need you need a bit of a pick me up. They're going to be over here. And I think that's something that you only start to consider when I get a bit old, as I've got a bit older. And actually, I think that's it there. So, I think the young girls that may be playing squash now, particularly, I would just tell them to find why they enjoy playing, and just how they enjoy playing, and just do it your way. Learn from who you can, but at the end of the day, you're the one that's playing. You're the one that needs to have your purpose, and the more purpose you have, I think the more motivated and dedicated you are naturally. So I think that's enjoy it, but play to your strengths, not someone else's.
Of course. What's the hardest thing about being a squash player? I know there's obviously many sacrifices you have to make. What's the hardest one?
probably just not being able to eat what I want all the time. Have it. When someone says, "Do you like sweet or savoury food?" My problem is I like both. So I think that is one of the hardest things for me, and as definitely being like that. But I think it's that you have a different lifestyle to the normal 9 to 5 type of job, and it's that most people unfortunately don't understand it, and don't understand that like whatever you do is you're always thinking, is that gonna help or hinder my squash? And they go, just come out for a few drinks, and you're like, either like, oh no, it's a bit late, or okay, I'll come, but I'm just gonna have a Diet Coke, and I think but I've been lucky, to the people I've had around me, I've been really good about that. But it's and obviously I think like you said, the other thing that springs to mind is just, I think not for myself, but I think for squash in general, is the lack of recognition of some of the best athletes in the world. It's such a physical sport, and because I love the mental side of it as well, and the challenge of it's almost like a game of chess in a glass box with rackets and a ball, and I love that challenge, and it frustrates me when people write it off without actually getting to know the sport, when I guess that's about when you love something so much and you're so passionate about it.
Adding to that, have you had any negative comments about you being a squash player?
I've definitely had, not for a while now, but when I was a bit younger and starting out, when people would say, "What do you do?" and you say, "Oh, I play squash," and they go, "Oh, okay, well, like, but what do you do for a job?" And I think that's almost like a bit disrespectful in a way. You're going, "Well, I'm dedicating every minute of every day to this," and you're just saying, "Oh, but like, what's your real job?" And actually, and I think that can be a bit sort of like, oh, and you see it with some of the other players, and they actually it does get to them, and they don't choose to play, which is a shame. Someone following their passion and everything. I beat the world number 1, and I'd hit my head in the middle and come back to win the match, and the tour posted about it, or probably on Facebook I think it was, or Twitter or something, and someone wrote on it like, "Oh, I can't take her seriously until she gets fit." And that was like, and I was like that's epitomizes social media really, of what someone else's opinion of what athletic looks like to them, and how I should look to be athletic. And I'm quite sort of hard-nosed. That comment didn't get to me, and it and that this guy had made, obviously someone I didn't know. The comment didn't get to me, but it almost spurs me on actually. But some other people, that a few of those comments, and they that can trigger all sorts of things. So we don't we're not a high profile sports, we don't get too much of that, but there's more than there should be.
You're very busy, so I'll leave.
You're more than welcome.
But thank you so much. Well, good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Take care.